Are you wanting more connection in your life? Well, today I wanted to share the beneficial experience I've had in being in men's groups. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. As always, if you want to connect with me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes below. Now, you may be a man, you may identify as a man, or may identify as another gender. So I'm just going to share my experience on this, and maybe there's someone you know who you could share this with, this episode. As always, I'd encourage you to, if you know someone that could help. Obviously, it's completely free to listen, but yeah, just if these lessons are maybe for you or maybe someone else, it's always good to share. So I found I was in my men's group yesterday, and I was going for a little bit of a tricky time. And yeah, it really helped kind of like talking out loud. But then what I noticed is the other guys would share their personal stories, and you felt a lot of love, a lot of respect, and a lot of connection for these guys. And the leader shared his deepest vulnerability as well. And that's what a real leader, I believe, will do. Like put themselves and share their vulnerability, and not just sit there and try and pretend they're perfect. They'll just be honest and raw, right? And I felt such emotional connection, because when people let their guard down and they show what's going on, it creates a lot more connection rather than this, it's making me emotional now talking about it, than this kind of, this barrier we have up all the time. And I've been so guilty of doing it so many times, when I've got like this barrier in front of me, and it's just like trying to look a certain way and trying to please other people, trying to look more significant than I am. And when you can get really into the vulnerable, open side, into the heart, the vulnerability, that's when true connection, I believe, is made. Now, of course, there's certain ways to go about that. Don't go too in the head, but, don't go too overboard. It's not like you're going to go on the first date and share with the girl or the person you're dating every single vulnerability about your life, because that's probably not a best approach, right? But when you want to connect more with people, I found having men's groups where you can share and listen to other people is a really powerful process. And what I've also learned is whatever gender we identify as, we've all got feminine and masculine energy. If you identify as a man, for example, you may be dominant in masculine energy, maybe not, right? Same with if you identify as a woman. I know I'm conscious there's all sorts of genders, right? But you may identify stronger with the feminine energy, or you may identify more of the masculine energy, right? We've all got, whatever gender we are, we've all got both kind of energies though. And what I learn is when you're expressing your emotions and you're being open, that's a very good being in your feminine energy. Now, guys on this call, when they're expressing their emotions and sharing with others, they are expressing their feminine energy. When we're there to hold space, hold structure and presence, that's identifying stronger in the masculine energy, right? I used to think masculine energy was all about like do, get things done. And whilst, yeah, it does include some structures, some plans, and leading certain things, it doesn't mean like get stuff done, achieve and be significant. No, that's what I used to think it meant. It's about that space, that structure, that presence. And in men's groups, like I said, when someone's sharing, being vulnerable, being emotional, that allows them to open up their feminine energy, which is beautiful, because if you suppress it down, it can really build up and then work up negative emotions, and they come out in all sorts of ways. And also for the people listening, for the guys listening, it's allowed us to hold strong the masculine energy as well. Now, of course, I may be listening there, and then the leader's like really carefully listening, and then maybe I get some emotion come up in me and I go into the feminine a little bit because of what someone said. But that's what the really beautiful thing about men's groups are. I found that we've been able to hold space. So I'm going to go into some guidance now for you. So the first thing is find yourself a men's group. There's all sorts of, and if you want some suggestions, I know a particular really good one, then yeah, let me know. Send me a message on social media. But yeah, just even Googling like men's groups, men's support groups can be a really powerful one. Now, of course, if you identify as another gender, there's all sorts of groups. There's like women's groups, There's all sorts of groups out there for like your particular situation. I don't think there's a shortage of network and support groups in this day and age. The second thing I'm going to suggest in these kind of group settings is allow the space to hear others. So this is about not just going in to take, but going in to give. Because I found when I just take or I'm expecting things, it doesn't make my life as fulfilling as the idea of contribution and giving to other people. So allow yourself the space to hear other people as well. It's a really powerful one. And then the third one, allow yourself to express. Again, this is about getting back into your feminine energy. Allow your emotions to be heard. Allow that safety, even if you start small. Like in the real men's, in these really powerful, strong men's groups, like the leader or the other group members are really going to push you. Like if they feel like you're holding something back, they're really going to push you because they want the best for you. They're sending love to you by like saying, oh, I don't feel like you released everything. And then when you do, it feels a lot more refreshing and energetic from doing that as well. So those would be my guidance points. Just want to share something else as well. I want to mention, if you want to connect me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes below. The final point I'm going to suggest is really having time to reflect afterwards, whether that's journaling or talking it through with someone. Because particularly journaling can be really useful. I find myself, wow, that was a powerful experience. And if I find some time to write down what I've just experienced, what's gone on, that's created a really powerful experience for me as well. So that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.